There are a lot in there that you don't know about, that they're not telling us. They're telling us half truths. When you speak about 86.5 us, they ain't telling us they ain't paid their debt yet. So a lot of things for you to sit down on and unravel and see that from the very beginning we get a bus budget. Plain and simple. But it is titled the Bramble budget. So let's move on and go on. And we're speaking about at the carnival in Boucherjou. The newly crowned General Secretary also spoke, but before he addressed the crowd, he sent kisses to his cabinet members, which indeed they are his cabinet members. And cabinet members, I'm quoting there, those were his words instead of his cabinet colleagues. But since he's prime minister, for the most part, even more than the actual prime minister himself, then they are his cabinet members. And he felt sorry for them. He said they look so lonely over there. Over where? We don't know because they never showed us where they were. But they were away from the big shots, right? And he felt sorry for them and he sent them kisses.
So I see my cabinet members looking so lonely across there. Cabinet members, mwah, I love you. Love you.
He said to them, they're lonely over there. But over where? Because we never saw them until the prime minister stood up to speak and showing a little bit of empathy. We know he don't normally have empathy, but he showed a little bit of empathy and compassion for his cabinet. I think he was embarrassed the way Andy spoke about it as well and drew attention to it. He began his presentation by calling out his cabinet members and calling them over. Come over here. If there was space over there for them, why were they sitting over there, over somewhere that we can't even see them, right? So he called them over, to come and sit with the big shots. While he got ready to repeat an event of the 2022 election campaign, the birthday of Morris Bishop, which is in May, or was, he's dead. Never mind, we're in March. You know?
I want to invite the honorable ministers who are sitting on the fine to join us on the stage. And then when they join us, I want to take you down memory lane. So, light engineer, if I say light engineer, you should know what I mean. I want to take you down memory lane. Let me see. If you remember, in Tempe playing field, on the 29th of May. You know whose birthday it is on the 29th of May? So let me see if you remember. And your son's birthday. So he's born on the day of a great Grenadian patriot. So ministers, join us on stage. Songman, turn off the light. And let's acknowledge your blessings and give thanks for being alive and for being here. With just a moment of silence as we put up our lights to reflect all of those who've gone to the great beyond and on whose shoulders we stand.
They never showed us where the cabinet members were. And so we have not, but I just have, to me, I feel so sad. I feel so sad for these guys and the way they're being treated by the prime minister, by the head of the cabinet. It's really, really, really sad and heartbreaking. But they seem to be sorry for themselves. They're getting big salary. They're all driving big fancy new cars. I guess livelihood for them is better than good treatment. So I guess, it's all good. It's all good. So he began his presentation, as you just saw, by wooing the crowd about the birthday of Morris Bishop, which is in May, and reminding them of the Tempe rally during the 2022 campaign. Now, remember, we're in March, as I said, and Morris Bishop's birthday is in May. So I'm still waiting and trying to figure out the connection. The 29th of May is Morris Bishop's birthday, and that whole rally thing was in March. So I don't know what the connection is or the obsession is with Morris Bishop. It is clearly an obsession of some sort with Morris Bishop. Is it genuine? I don't think so. To me, he's trying to ride on the back, but he ain't have much left. It's just a scattered few. He ain't have much Morris Bishop lovers left. As a matter of fact, most of the ones that are around, they're more Conites than Morris Bishopites. Be careful. Be careful. Riding on the backs of Morris Bishop, on the back of Morris Bishop.
On the stage. And then when they join us, I want to take you down memory lane. So, light engineer, if I say light engineer, you should know what I mean. I want to take you down memory lane. Let me see. Let me see if you remember in Tempe playing field on the 29th of May. You know whose birthday it is on the 29th of May? So let me see if you remember. And your son's birthday. So he's born on the day of a great Grenadian patriot. So ministers, join us on stage. Songman, turn off the light. And let's acknowledge your blessings and give thanks for being alive and for being here. With just a moment of silence as we put up our lights to reflect all of those who've gone to the great beyond and on whose shoulders we stand.
Real Mawet. Real Mawet. Nothing of substance. You have your midterm rally. Actually, the first rally you had since the major rally since coming into office, 2.5 years. And you bring your supporters to tell them about Julian Fedor and Morris Bishop, and we just come out of a hurricane. I mean, there's so many issues, so many things for you to speak about. You said you have achieved a whole lot. Tell us what you plan on going forward. No substance. Huh? No substance. And it's all about comrade and for whatever and back whatever. It's the most of that I've heard in a long time. maybe since the revolution, the era of 1979 to 1983. You know, I mean, I kind of understand where you're going, and you're trying to hold on to a group of persons who has already left the ship. They have already left because their boy Peter out there. So trying to ride on that ship, forget it. Forget that ship. That ship has sailed, right? So Peter David, it seems like the struggle for the supporters to garner support of the remnants of the revolution is on between you and Deacon, you know? So try all the best with that. Try all the best with that. The Prime Minister says it's a blessing Peter David left the NDC. Now, only Peter didn't leave the NDC. Peter was thrown out of the NDC, along with 12 of the members of his faction. But what does Deacon Mitchell know about the NDC and Peter David? And what does he know about that? He's a Johnny come lately. We all know that he is a Johnny come lately. And before this, I am almost certain that 99.99% of the NDC supporters and followers, well wishers, have never heard of Deacon Mitchell. Never heard the name Deacon Mitchell.
So you had a fella who was a popular fella. And then he left the NDC. And then he went over by the other side. And then now he know is no man's land now. And I show back then a lot of all you was disappointed and cried and say all kind of thing. But all you didn't know it was a
So, Kaido, no, I have an advice for the advisors of the Prime Minister. Read him my speech next time, please. Any event like that, yeah, read him my speech. There's all over the place. It was a blessing. What you know about that? And that is so long gone. What are you talking about? Several elections passed after that. What blessing? I mean, come on. You know, do better than that. You have guests. You have to put out your best foot when you have guests. This nonsense. Where you today? When Peter got thrown out? Mr. Corporate Lawyer. The NDC in a press release named Tanti Glow as their first female chairperson of the NDC. And later on in there, named Ron Reddit as a cabinet minister. Now, I am not sure what's really going on with NDC. Because the PRO, Ron Redhead, who should be a part of putting out a release like that, he is not a member of the cabinet anymore. And he should know that he is not a member of the cabinet because he's not a member of the cabinet. He was fired. He also was a part of the NDC executive when Frank Bernardine was the chairman or chairperson rather of the NDC. So to put out a release that says Tanti Glow is the first female chairman of the NDC, something wrong with the Kool-Aid all you're drinking. And not just Ron, but there are people like Adrian Persuader Thomas, Joseph Andel, Claudette Joseph, Karine James, Tevin Andrew, Randall Robinson, Blondell. They all know and was a part of the thing when Franca Bernardine was the chairwoman, the chairperson or became, I should say, the chairperson of the NDC. So when I got up the morning and I saw this thing and I read it and I was like, well, what is going on here? So I made a couple of calls because I'm like, no, something. And I called my good friend Tevin Andrew, and I also called Randall Blondell. I said, Blondell, well, what is this? And he was like, when I said, is Gloria the first female chairman of chairperson of the? He said, yes. I said, Rondell, what happened to Frank? Oh, we all forget that. We go change it, we go change it. Tevin told me I got similar sentiments from Tevin Andrew. And they never changed it. Either because they don't want me correcting them, or they figured the general public really don't know that Gloria was not the first female chairperson of the party. And I'm not surprised because they're a party of deception. They don't know the truth or how to speak about the truth, even if it's staring them straight in their face. And I want to read the part of it for you because you know how we roll on Simon Says. We're not going to say something and then they say, oh, that's not what was there. And as a matter of fact, they did not, as I said, they did not take down they did not take it down. So we have here, and I'm not going to read the whole foolish release, but it says, in addition to the historical election of the party, first female chair, Senator Gloria Ann Thomas, the duly ratified constitutional changes allowed for the election on the first Deputy General Secretary, Osbert Charles. So you see here they said Tanti Glow is the first female chair of the NDC. And then lower down, when they spoke about Ron, to continue, it says Senator Thomas is joined by 4 other cabinet members in the executive. 4 other cabinet members in the executive. And this is put out by the NDC party, a release, right? 4 other cabinet members, including Member of Parliament Andy Williams as General Secretary, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell as political leader, and members of Parliament Joseph Andel as deputy political leader and Ron Redhead as public relations officer. So I had to ask, and then my second question after asking about Tanti Glow was, is Ron Redhead a member of the cabinet or not? And both answers was, he's not a member of the cabinet. But I've even heard on occasions the prime minister referring to him as a cabinet member. They're all over the place. A simple thing like that, they cannot get right. And the release, they never changed it. They never changed it. And I smiled. And I thought, okay, I'll bring it to the public. So the public know that Tanti Glow is not the first female chairperson of the NDC. Now, I must admit that I didn't pay attention to the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell's speech throughout the carnival in Bushiju. I mean, it was a lot to take in one go, especially with the masqueraders on stage. It was too much. So I went in and out a bit, take a little break, then drink some water, take a walk, and come back to take it in. And so the calls, the messages kept coming. How Deacon throw words for me. Eventually, someone sent me a clip.
And you see me? According to them Jamaicans, me not fear no man. So as long as I am the political leader of the National Democratic Congress, they could say what they want, where they want, when they want, but tell them buck upon me, confront me, say it to my face, and then we go deal with them. So don't watch the noise. Most of them social media bad John, if you meet them, butter can't melt in their mouth. They can't even watch you in your face. They don't understand the struggle of the average person, of the average mother, who has to take care of the children, who wants to educate their children, who wants better for their children than they had.
Well, the Prime Minister take his time in a midterm rally to beat TB, and he afraid no human. Well, I don't know of many people who afraid human beings. We don't walk around with horns. And so, yeah, you're the leader, you're the political leader of the NDC, correct. So start behaving like the leader of the NDC. You see, I don't understand what he's asking for. Now, first of all, let me say I don't know that was for me because he ain't call my name. No, I doesn't come out and speak if I ain't calling him. When I want to say the Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell lie, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell lie, and I could say that to him even in his face when I see him, if I see him. But when I dress up, I pay for an event and I dress up nice and I go and I having a good time with my friends. I don't have time for Deacon and his lies, right? There's a time and place for everything. So if he's referring to me and the one space, well, I would call it one because since he became prime minister, we were in the same space twice. Once I was on the beach at a restaurant in Lansipine having lunch, and he came through there with his kids. They were going to the beach, right? And he stopped and he makes small talk. I make small talk back. And I watch him in his eyes. So the next time was a few weeks ago at the Jefferson Ramirez concert. They had a space downstairs, roped off for the Prime Minister and the GG. We were upstairs, me and my friends, having a blast, well dressed, dressed to the max. So I didn't have time to study politics and nothing else. I went to an event, I was enjoying myself at the event. He looked up and he saw us. I would say us because there was a few of us along the thing. He came up there and mingled with his friends. Couple of them that was there, only them that was bothering with him and taking him on, nobody else, because we were at an event and we were having a good time. I don't know what he expected me to do because he's speaking about social media, so I would put myself in there with that one. Go up to him and say, yes, you just lie, you just eh? Come on now. That was lame. That was weak. But I can't melt in mouth. You know anything about the struggles of the people of Grenada? I marched the street as a young teenager during the revolution. I marched and I marched and marched in the streets. I've never seen you walking the streets of St. George's, much less to march in the struggle. I struggled with the people through the revolution, through when before the revolution. I was in primary school and I marched with the NGM against the Gary regime, the cop. So I've been struggling. I had to leave school in St. Paul's, running home through the bushes, bullets whistling over our heads. ducking as we go along. What do you know about struggle? Where have you been to talk? Come on. That was so lame. He was referring to me because the truth is, I don't really care. And I am not afraid of you either. And if you want me the next time I meet you to look you in the eyes and say, you're a failed prime minister, I can do that. But hear what? I'm going to send an invitation for you to come on, Simon says, and let's do this. Let's debate. Let's look each other in the eyes. After Eminem play rebuttal in the parliament on Monday, I don't think you're going to want to debate, especially a woman. I don't think you're going to want to do that. Small talk, and I ain't gonna waste much more time on that. But that was that. Anyhow, I guess you were making up things to say, and again, showing off in front of your guests. You ain't afraid nobody, as if somebody freed you. Moving right along. You stood on a stage with the world looking on, people from Grenada, the diaspora, all over the world, because a lot of people wanted to see and hear what you were coming with as a party, as political leader, as prime minister, if you want to say that. What you had to say for yourself and your government and your party, because the party is non-existent at the moment. You're just at a convention and there's no NDC party out there. So people wanted to hear. And then, of course, you brought two sitting prime ministers. That give people a little nudge. You want to hear what they had to say. And you want to see Grenadians always welcome Skerrit, Prime Minister Skerrit from Dominica. Always did. And so he is like, he grew up coming to Grenada as a politician since so he's family in Grenada. Forget the sisterhood thing, because you don't always act as sister to the NDC. I'll tell you all that, right? So wanted to see and tune in to see. So stop all the melee and the confusion, and bring some substance to the people, right? So can you imagine the Prime Minister of Grenada, Deacon Mitchell, stood on a platform in front of the world and declared his hand and declared that it's okay with tribalism, nepotism, and victimization. He's the same Deacon Mitchell as political leader who promised to end the very things, nepotism and victimization, all of it. Yeah.
But getting back to the main point, we need to run our country based on merit, based on hard work, based on the desire and the willingness to overcome and to find solutions to the challenges that face us. We will not move forward or prosper as a people if the sole basis for job selection, for promotion, for the award of contracts is party loyalty or personal loyalty. If we continue with this approach, we will be doing ourselves and the several generations of Grenadians to come a huge disfavor. And so under my leadership, I intend to break that vicious cycle of nepotism.
And you are correct, sir. His very first parliament sitting as member representing St. David and as Prime Minister of Grenada, CARICOM, Martinique, he told the nation then that his blood was red and not yellow, and that the members of the opposition, he was willing, in other words, to work with the members of the opposition for a better Grenada. I remember being very impressed with that statement. And today, you stand on a stage in front of your colleagues, in front of the world, and preach, literally preach, tribalism, nepotism, and vindictiveness.
We need to know one another. They have senior members and junior members and those who just joined. We need to know that all of us belongs to the National Democratic Congress. So we can't just argue and fight for what I will get, what I will get, what I will get, when you don't know your people. So sometimes the reason the other side getting is because we're not saying who are the real NDC people who need to get, because we don't know one another enough. So if we are telling the MP or the caretaker, these are our people, and let's go see them or bring the people, then we will know each other better.
You see, one can only act for so long. When the sun go down, kukute done. As a child, you're on vacation and you go down below the house and you play your kukute. And the sun go down, kukute done. Time to go upstairs, time to go up to the house. Strip your kukute clothes off. Take a shower, rinse off and get back to reality. You see, one day in Kukute, I'm a white woman in the mansion on the hill. The next day, I am the shopkeeper. I own a liquor shop in the village. Call me Miss Edwards. So you can change your character when you play in Kukute. And you can pretend as much as you want. It is clear that the whole, we're going to get rid of nepotism and victimization. And it was all an act. Sadly, you can't keep up with the act. So the real Deacon Mitchell has been coming out slowly but surely. In my mind, you reach out now. You can only pretend for so long. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was behaving like a child. When you have visitors and you decide, or your parents have visitors, they're visitors, and you decide you go show off and do things that you're not supposed to do, and say things that you're not supposed to. But then you get the eye, and the eye sets you straight. You just the eye you needed, because there's nobody there to give him the eye. He's a boss. He's in charge. He don't afraid nobody. So he didn't get the eye. So he continued to expatiate. I don't even know if that's a word, but I remember as a child, we used to talk about, so you're expatiating now. He continued to expatiate in front of his friends, I have friends that go show off. Peter this, Peter get throw, Peter leave NDC, and it was a blessing, and me afraid nobody, and butter can melt in their mouth, and all this crap. Real mawet, nothing of substance, showing off in front of your colleagues. You know nothing about NDC and Peter David era. In fact, you know nothing about the politics of Grenada. Then or now, your involvement in Grenada's politics was impromptu. It's self-serving and hypocritical, misleading and deceptive. It's a get-rich-quick scheme. We all know you want to be the next billionaire, the richest man in the region, the richest man in Grenada. You're probably already there. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. You and your nation builders, NDC. And I don't know when it is, the real NDC supporters are going to recognize you for exactly who you are. What did we take away from Prime Minister Mitchell's speech in Busheju, in the carnival? What did we take away from his speech? Where was the hope for us as a people, for the young people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique? Where is the hope for our rural communities? Where was the hope for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique? Period. Especially Carriacou and Petit Martinique, with the sufferings they're going through post-burial. It's your midterm. What have you done besides pay pension? A retroactive, that is. Introduce bi-monthly salary. Payments increase for minimum wage. What are your plans going forward from Monday, the 3rd March 2025? When the carnival over? Eh? What are your plans? Tell us. Tell us something of substance. Now, I don't have much time left for this section. But on stage in Busheju on Sunday, the 2nd, apart from all the bawling out and the screaming and the shouting and the wailing, and the speaking of the achievements, they said achievements, I'll say that. I'll leave that there. They had a video to show. As Randall said, they put it together nicely for us. So let's sit back and take a look at this video.
On the morning of June 23rd, 2022, the sun
Even
rose
as we're
to
about
a
to
new
be waiting
era
on the
of
song,
hope.
we kindly ask,
Amidst
as
a
we're waiting on the
nation
song, we kindly
yearning for
ask Lily
change,
Welch and
thousands
Jaden
of you
Alexander
put
to
your
kindly
mark
report
on a better
backstage.
future, determined to build it block by block. Today, the future you voted for is under construction. There are fresh new investments in the local economy, and our policy also points, even more importantly, to greater investments in our people. Our economy continues to grow, and unemployment is on its way down. More funding is now available for small business development, and the support for and promotion of the creative industry sector has positioned us to benefit from this new era, driven by creativity, technology, and innovation. We are attracting more foreign direct investments, fueling a boom in construction. The tourism sector is strong as it has ever been. 2 years in, we understand this is the early part of the journey, but a Grenadian rebirth, fueled by that hope and our collective determination, is at hand. And what are the building blocks of this future? We have championed the interest of workers by honoring the commitment to their pensions, while at the same time increasing the minimum wage in all sectors, instituting increase in salary and fringe benefits to public servants, beginning bi-monthly payments, and instituting the regularization of workers. We have sent a clear signal to the private sector as well, to honor the dignity of work. This government is also systematically strengthening the commitment to education through both legislative and practical action. Always clear that a solid education is the gateway to our people's prosperity and empowerment. We have promoted profound changes to our school system, including introducing an education amendment bill, free tuition to TAMCC, expanding the school feeding program, and ensuring access to more scholarships. Understanding that a nation's value is measured in the way it looks after its young and its elderly, we have set about to strengthen our social compact to improve and expand social services to our elderly citizens. We have also announced the launch of innovative programs to engage our youth. For this government, it's clear that interventions are needed if we are to, especially, save our sons. We understand that charity begins at home, and we are boldly doing these things. But we are also busy restoring our good name globally. Grenada is engaging the world again, driven by a leader who continues to inspire us all, but also who has captured the imagination of the global community. This Dickon Mitchell administration has begun to expand its diplomatic footprints as a means of opening more opportunities for our people. We have become a leader in the push for reparatory justice. For example, recently writing to the Bank of England, calling upon it to make reparations on account of its direct role in the 1780s enslavement of Africans and their descendants here in Grenada. In the last generation, Grenadians have never been as proud as we all are now, as highlighted by our landmark 50th Independence Anniversary celebrations. 2 years is not a long time, especially when you are trying to completely transform a nation. But we have started out strong. We are giving urgent attention to the healthcare sector with the development of a new, modern teaching hospital. In addition, we are preparing to launch Project 500, a transformative housing program that will provide affordable homes for our citizens. Our skills training program is also set to commence in the coming months. Reflecting on these past 2 years, we are filled with pride, but you haven't seen anything yet. We've only just begun. In a world full of challenges, we know the future is ours, and we are marching forward together.
They've only just begun. You know, I've been asking for a while now for them to give us a timeline as to when we could say, okay, well, you're not that new anymore, because they keep using that as an excuse. But they said they started off strong. Now, if that's your strength, if that's strong for you, then we really are in trouble. But you might notice that there was only one actor in that movie. As always, one actor. Imagine for the carnival, the only T-shirts that was printed, the new ones, had only one face, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. No matter which constituency you're from, you carried the face of Prime Minister Mitchell. One actor in the movie, one actor. So I guess when they kill out the actor in the movie, that's it for us. Okay, now I'm assuming that video is for us because they talk a lot of crap all about the what Project 500 that only have about three foundations up there in Dunfermline, right? But all of that big time. So by now we should have had like 1,500 houses, right? And we only have three, four little foundation for prefab houses, I'll have you know. And the rest of it, you all know the ones, the school feeding program that they make free, and now they're giving the kids dry bread and nonsense, cornmeal porridge every day, and that type of thing. No meat, and we know all about that, right? The free tuition, and the kids have no money to pay the bus and to buy the school clothing and the books and so to come to school. So there's no need for the free church, and we know all of that. So that's for us. The music was good though. I like the music that came with it. Now I have another video to share with you. And bear with me, it's a little long, but we're coming to the end of this segment, and then we're moving on to the Bramble budget. Um, so I have another video to share with you, and I believe this one is not for us. It's for to fool the people in the diaspora and the ones we trying to invite to purchase our passports out there. I believe it's to hoodwink them into believing that all this is going on. Because some of the citizen by investment people, they don't come to the islands. They purchase their passports, never setting a foot on the island. So you could tell them certain lies and they get away with it. But just in case, they may say, well, just in case I want to one day, go there for 6 months. Oh, that's beautiful. That's lovely. I wouldn't mind living there at all. Right? So the prime minister and his team had this video done. I mean, his face is all over it, right? Where they build bridges and hospitals and take a look.
This is Grenada, and in this video, we'll take a look at some of the completed and almost completed mega projects in Grenada. So if you're interested in seeing what's new on the island, be sure to subscribe before we start.
Number 13.
Sauteurs Bridge. The Sauteurs Bridge spans the Sauteurs River Gorge through a cable-stayed bridge. The bridge is 520 meters long and 120 meters high, making it Grenada's highest bridge. The bridge was built to replace an outdated swing bridge that could no longer handle the increased traffic. The Sauteurs Bridge has aided in the improvement of traffic between the parishes of Street Patrick and Street Andrew, as well as becoming a major tourist site.
Number 12.
International Airport Expansion. Grenada International Airport was extended in 2022 to allow larger planes and more passengers. The extension included a new runway, terminal, and cargo facility. The development has made Grenada more accessible to visitors and enterprises, as well as boosting the country's economy.
Number 11.
Port of Grenada expansion. The Port of Grenada was expanded in 2022 to accommodate larger ships and increase cargo capacity. The expansion added a new dock, a new container terminal, and a new warehouse. The expansion has helped to boost the country's economy by making it easier to import and export goods.
Number 10.
Grenada New National Stadium. The stadium seats 20,000 people and hosts a range of events such as football matches, cricket matches, and concerts. The stadium has hosted several international events, including the Caribbean Games in 2022.
Number 9.
Grenada Telecom's expansion. The telecommunications infrastructure in Grenada was expanded in 2022 to improve internet access and mobile coverage. Grenada has been more connected to the rest of the globe as a result of the growth. Installation of new fiber optic cables, building of new cell towers, and improvements to existing infrastructure were all part of the expansion. People in Grenada may now access the internet, make phone calls, and utilize mobile devices more easily because of the expansion.
Number 8.
New roads and bridges. Grenada's new roads and bridges were built to boost mobility and communication throughout the country. The roads were developed to link the various regions of the island, while the bridges were erected to cross rivers and other bodies of water. The improved infrastructure has made it simpler for individuals to travel throughout Grenada and has also aided the economy by making it easier for companies to carry products and services. For example, the new motorway connecting Street Georges to the airport has made it much easier for travelers to visit the island. A famous tourist attraction is the new bridge that spans the Sauteurs River Gorge.
Number 7.
Construction of new schools and hospitals. Grenada's new schools and hospitals were built to improve education and healthcare in the country. The new buildings are outfitted with cutting-edge technology, allowing students and patients to have a better learning and healthcare experience. For example, the new National Hospital contains a new cancer treatment center where patients may get the most up-to-date therapies. The new university campus houses one of the Caribbean's largest libraries.
Number 6.
Construction of new housing developments. Grenada's new housing projects were built to meet the needs of the island's rising population. The new complexes are spread over the island and provide a variety of housing alternatives. The new waterfront building in Street Georges, for example, provides premium residences with beautiful views of the harbor. The new eco-friendly development in Grand Anse provides energy-efficient seaside residences.
Number 5.
Construction of new tourist resorts. Grenada's tourism business has benefited from the opening of new tourist resorts. Spas, restaurants, and water sports are among the amenities and activities available at the new resorts. The new all-inclusive resort at Grand Anse, for example, boasts a private beach, a golf course, and a casino. The new boutique hotel in Street Georges is housed in a historic structure and provides breathtaking views of the city.
Number 4.
Construction of new industrial parks. The new industrial parks in Grenada were opened to attract new businesses and help to create jobs. The new parks offer businesses with access to land, utilities, and other resources. For example, the new industrial park in Goyave is close to the port and provides firms with quick access to shipping and transportation. The new industrial park in Grenville is close to the airport and provides enterprises with quick access to worldwide markets.
Number 3.
New renewable energy projects. The solar farm in Grenada has a capacity of 10 megawatts and is located in the parish of Street Andrew. It is the country's largest solar farm and is projected to generate enough electricity to power 10,000 households. The wind farm, which has a capacity of 5 megawatts, is located in the parish of Street Patrick. It is projected to provide enough energy to power 5,000 households. The hydroelectric plant has a capacity of 2 megawatts and is located in the parish of Street John. It will generate enough electricity to power 2,000 houses. These renewable energy projects are a major step forward for Grenada in its efforts to reduce its reliance on fossil fuels. They will help to improve the country's air quality, reduce its carbon emissions, and make it more sustainable. The projects have also created jobs and helped to boost the economy.
Number 2.
Street Georges Wastewater Treatment Plant. Street Georges Wastewater Treatment Plant is a cutting-edge facility that can treat up to 20 million gallons of wastewater per day. It is projected to improve the city's water quality and lower the danger of waterborne infections. Grenville's wastewater treatment plant is a modest facility capable of treating up to 5 million gallons of wastewater per day. It is anticipated to improve the city's water quality and safeguard the environment. The airport's wastewater treatment plant is a modest facility that can process up to 1 million gallons of wastewater per day. It is anticipated to enhance airport water quality and safeguard the environment. These wastewater treatment plants are a major step forward for Grenada in its efforts to improve water quality and reduce pollution. They will help to protect the environment and marine life and improve the health of the population.
Number 1.
New reforestation projects. The parish of Street Andrew is home to an initiative to plant 100,000 trees in the highlands. The initiative is expected to restore the country's forests, which are crucial for carbon dioxide absorption and climate regulation. The parish of Street Patrick is home to the endeavor to plant 50,000 trees along the shore. The initiative is meant to safeguard the shoreline from erosion while also improving water quality. These reforestation projects are a major step forward for Grenada in its efforts to protect its environment and mitigate climate change. They will help to restore the country's forests, improve the quality of the air and water, and provide habitats for wildlife. That's all for this video.
I like the Sortes Bridge. I just find that bit, but I have to take a trip up to Sortes to go and see the Sortes Bridge. I love that bridge. It's really, really nice. And, it does a lot to enhance the country, that Sortes Bridge. Now, what's the new National Hospital? Where's that new National Hospital? What's the new housing in St. George's, overlooking the harbor or whatever? Where's the new resort in Grand Anse with the golf course? Where's the new industrial park? What's the new solar farm in St. John and St. Andrew, I believe? I mean, I don't, there are 8 of these videos, huh? I just pick one with because some of them have stuff that the other one don't have. So I try to pick one that you can get probably a little bit of everything, not really, but most of it, most of it. There are 8 of those. 8 of those over there, people. Not just one, 8. The narrator said some of these projects are completed or almost completed. The deception, I can't understand. Why would an administration, why would a government, why would just put these things out there to totally deceive the world? I don't understand it. Maybe I'm not up to date with what's happening in the world today, but we're still in our little island, and so we need to kind of stick to the basic sometimes, you know? We need to. I mean, don't do that. Don't do that. So summer completed. Of course, as I said, I really do like the Sortes Bridge, right? In my mind, every bad word in the dictionary, no matter the language you speak, can be used to describe this Deacon Mitchell-led administration. A very elusive bunch of people. We have is deception. And it have to start from the Prime Minister's advisors and a bunch of tactless, spineless cabinet members who willingly and willfully set out to deceive the people with ambiguous figures, videos, and wannabe projects. Now, if we agree that Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was showing off at the carnival, let's hear one of his guests, Prime Minister Garrett of Dominica.
Did I hear someone say 15 love? We are going for 15-0 the next time. But all I am asking the political leader for is to leave St. George West for me. St. George Northwest. St. George Northwest I will deal with.
So now look who Pelton Stone. He actually said to the crowd in his speech that it's a good thing when people talking about Prime Minister. He said people don't pelt stone at empty mango tree. And he come there pelting stone at the NNP. I'm guessing that the NNP mango tree is loaded. You know, we remember when our Prime Minister went to St. Lucia and behaved like a jack. And I couldn't imagine when I listened to Prime Minister Skerritt's speech to hear some of the things that came from his mouth. I couldn't imagine. Let's listen to him again. Let's continue.
But I understand how important it is for us to defend our country and ensure that we have people who can stand in defense of our country, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I've said to those who are trying to interfere in our elections, that will not happen until when Roosevelt Skerritt is Prime Minister of Dominica. The people of Dominica will decide who their next government is, ladies and gentlemen. Not no outside interference. Not no outside interference. But these guys, they're colluding with these people outside. They're ganging up with these people outside to seek to destroy our country. But see what they're getting now from the very same people that they're colluding with, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, do so don't like so. He is all upset that somebody or bodies are trying to get into their business in Dominica. But he came to Grenada to tell the people that the next election, we get in 15 law. Or they share in 15 law. Right? The NDC would be winning all 15 seats. This from a guy who came to Grenada to celebrate with his sister party, thought it necessary to overstep boundary. It's like you ask to use the bathroom in someone's house, you visiting and you ask to use the bathroom, and you end up in their bedroom going through their drawers, their panty drawers, and their underwear and things. How you reach there? We have a name for that in Grenada. We call that person a Marco. You're out of order. Roosevelt scary. There's a saying, when you dig in hole for someone, dig one next to it for you. These are the individuals who preach democracy, democracy, democracy. And your wish for Grenada, Mr. Skerrit, is another period in time without an opposition. It's the same man who came to your rescue some years ago that you all are going after, no matter what. Well, he's not there anymore, but it's like you all are blinded by that. Whether he's not there, but no one is calling on the new political leader. Everyone is still going after Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell, you all went in the Northwest to bury him. In the meantime, our lady is just sailing through, climbing over barriers, jumping over hurdles as high as they come. Here is you, Prime Minister Skerrit, with Dr. Mitchell by your side in Dominica.
I want to place, as I've done before on public record, our deepest appreciation to the Prime Minister and Chairman of the Authority, Dr. Mitchell, for his extraordinary support after the passage of Tropical Storm Erika. The chairman has been in touch with me on a regular basis, on a very regular basis, following up, providing guidance, providing advice, providing suggestions, and providing moral support during these very difficult times. As of course, you know, he had the profound experience with Ivan in 2004, and so he's coming with a very strong experience and knowledge. And
strong battle scars.
And I've been told on strong battle scars, being one of the old guards, you know, in the leadership of the Caribbean. So I've been very grateful for this, but also the mobilization, the self-mobilization of the Grenadian people. You know, there has always been a very strong bond of friendship and special love between Dominica and Grenada, and the people of Grenada demonstrated that after the passage of Tropical Storm Erika, and they continue to do so. So I really want to thank publicly on behalf of the people of Dominica, the generosity of the Prime Minister and the people of Grenada during these difficult times.
You know what they say, ungratefulness is worse than obia. So he wants, as he said in his speech, leave St. George Northwest to him. I guess he's going to come down and campaign and win St. George Northwest for the NDC after 40 years. He's going to do that. You're out of order. You are out of order and out of your cotton-picking minds. And another thing, when you all go abroad to speak, and they tell you all things, they give you a little bit of a little rundown, do a little bit of investigation. As a matter of fact, do it before you get here. And don't just go by what they say. As you spoke of all these achievements, of telling us, the people of Grenada, of the achievements of our administration.
Within your first term in office, the Deacon Mitchell-led government delivered on commitments such as removing school fees and addressing outstanding pension payments for public officers. Immediate relief to thousands of families across the length and breadth of Guyana, Martinique, and CARICOM. His handling of the post-COVID, post-Hurricane burial recovery
securing a $44 million payout, and activating a debt suspension to redirect funds towards rebuilding, demonstrated your foresight and decisive action, our dear Prime Minister.
For your information, Roosevelt, all our schools are suffering now because of the Deacon Mitchell-led administration so-called free tuition and free school feeding program, because they're broke and they cannot keep up with the subsidy, the subsidizing of the schools and these programs. They cannot, they're broke. They have failed miserably when it comes to this transformation. Secondly, Roosevelt asked Deacon where the money from the CRIF insurance secured by the former administration, where the money, but I will tell you all where the money is when we start to deal with the Bramble budget. I won't tell you all, I'll show you just where the CRIF money went. So my advice to you, Roosevelt, do your homework the next time and walk slow, drink water, and mind your business. When you leave for the bathroom, go straight to the bathroom and just segue into the people's bedroom, their drawers. Hold your lane, hold your lane. And then there is this introduction to Philip J. Pear to the stage. Now, pay attention to the crowd in this video. Because remember, we were going to topple over into the sea, and there was just so much people. Whoa, yo, yo, watch people. Pay attention.
Amazing! Put your hands together and welcome Philip J. Pear Selection! Let's go! Hold on! Look at these gentlemen and the lovely lady.
Now look on the screen to the well-prepared photo for us to see. You know, I really did not want to bother with Philip J. Pear because he's already on his way out. But the more I thought of it, the more I got upset. Let's hear him.
And he also, your Prime Minister, was the chair of CARICOM. Now I there before him, I never chaired CARICOM. But he chaired CARICOM, and he chairs CARICOM and had to go through this crisis in Haiti, and he led CARICOM in a very, very important way. Because we must think about our comrades in Haiti, and Deacon Mitchell worked, and today, if there's improvement in Haiti, it's because of some of the work done by Deacon Mitchell.
You know, he kind of sung as though he come from the cabinet of the NDC, the Deacon-led cabinet. He sound like he come from the, not accent, we know it's St. Lucian accent, but generally he sound and look like he came from that cabinet. Mr. Man, the appointment of CARICOM chair is rotational. Your turn probably ain't come yet. Or maybe you just can't make the grade because the way you sound there, I don't know. It is not given by merit. If it was given by merit, then for sure you wouldn't get through. And maybe 3 or so out of our prime ministers here in Grenada would not have get through. They would not have gotten through either. It's not given by merit. It's country. But you and your deception, trying to make, I guess those who assemble, those who resemble, really assemble or assemble, resemble, trying to make the unassuming Grenadian believe that Deacon was chosen out of all the heads to check CARICOM because he's that good. Nothing so. Secondly, your Haitian point failed because only days before that heads meeting, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell deported a number of Haitians who tried to land in Grenada. Deported them. And listening to you saying that if there is any improvement, you don't know if there's any improvement, you have not followed up on what's going on in Haiti. And saying if there's any improvement, it's because of Deacon Mitchell as chairman. Then what happened to the rest of you? Did he go there alone, act alone, made all the decisions alone? Where were the rest of the heads? Rubbish. Rubbish. The rest of you wasn't part of the decision making of what took place. It wasn't a collective idea. Isn't CARICOM an acronym for the Caribbean Community and the Common Market? It's an organization of Caribbean countries that work together. The operative word here, together, to promote economic growth and cooperation. Cooperation. Mr. Philip J. I'm so embarrassed for you, eh? I could imagine how those St. Lucians are feeling. I would have felt hearing you on a big stage. In my mind, they should not allow you. They should not have allowed you back in. But it's not for long. It's not for long. You would be in that position. You guys went to the same training school as Deacon. When they train you in deception at its highest level, my goodness, you leave St. Lucia to come here and try to deceive Grenadians. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. But then again, he did the same. He did the same when he went to St. Lucia. You, the one in St. Kitts, is a group of you, right, boys, pretty boys. Well, not you. You're not included in the pretty boys thing, but. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we move on to Bramble Budget. Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode. Welcome back. The 2025 estimates of revenue and expenditure finally came on the 7th of March, Friday the 7th of March, 2025, 6 months from budget consultation, which normally starts in September, and 6 months later, and like 3 months after the usual presentation date. The budget was presented by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Dennis Cornwall, the only presenter for the day on Friday the 7th. The budget debate started on Monday the 10th March 2025, a historic day in the parliamentary history of Grenada. Honorable Emmeline Pear, made an appearance as leader of His Majesty opposition for the NNP, and of course, political leader of same. The first female to do so for the NNP and have settled in like she has done it before. Notably missing from the chambers to congratulate and welcome Honorable Eminent Pair as the leader of His Majesty's opposition was Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. Now, persons assumed he was out of state since the day before, on Sunday the 9th, at the airport, as they welcomed home our own soca artist Blackadan after winning his Soca Monarch title in Trinidad. Minister Andy Williams was introduced as the acting Prime Minister. Now, even though till now we had no idea if Prime Minister traveled or not, because there was no release coming from the Prime Minister's office, nothing from the Governor General naming Andy Williams as acting Prime Minister. But who cares? Deacon is large, he afraid nobody, and he's in charge. He can break the laws of the land whenever he wants, and it don't matter. So the day ended with Honorable Emily Pair stripping apart their budget. She did a splendid job. Excellent, excellent, excellent in my view, and in a whole lot of other people's view. She looked stately, and her delivery 100%. And you don't want to miss next week, because I'm going to do a very good comparison for you. We're going to hear from the Minister of Finance, and then we're going to hear from the leader of the opposition, Honorable Emily Pair, and some of the others, and their scatterbrains. We're going to hear. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So you don't want to miss next week. And she put them on the back foot. She had them on the back foot, which, by the way, is still there on the back foot. But still in the minds of people, questions in social media and amongst one another, where was Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell? Why wasn't he in Parliament? And the conclusion just came. People just thought he was away, because we know for the most part he lives in the clouds. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell was in the Parliament building, in his office, I guess, because there's an office in there for the Prime Minister, somewhere behind the walls. He just didn't care enough to come out to congratulate Honorable Emmeline Pair on her maiden appearance in the Parliament as leader of the opposition. In my mind, rude and disrespectful. First to arrive as members of Parliament was Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell on Monday morning with his brown paper bag, which I assume was lunch. Seemed like he had his day all mapped out, and he didn't plan with coming out. Because of course, you can't come out after the leader of the opposition do a thing and then you come out. It would show you up for exactly who you are. But the pretending and staying behind there for the rest of the day, it work. That did not work. Simon Says, of course, got the tape. You know how we roll.
Good morning, Ross. What's up?
Day two of the budget debate, Tuesday the 11th, the Prime Minister again in the Parliament building, with no appearance in the chambers until the end of the day, when he decided to make an appearance, not just to present, but to close off the budget. Something the Prime Minister wanted to do since budget 2024. Even though he had given the job of Minister of Finance to the Honorable Dennis Cornwall. Folks, Minister of Finance Dennis Cornwall was ambushed by the Prime Minister because he is the Prime Minister and can do so. And according to the rules of the Parliament, he has the authority to choose anyone to close off the debate, or, like he did, close it off himself. As I understand it, he wanted to do the budget presentation as well as to close off. Just to be clear, the Minister of Finance actually started the closing. He started his presentation, close off the budget, and then the drama began to unfold. Let's take a look.
Is it the like to be MP for St. Patrick East? Is it? I now invite the MP for St. Patrick East to now take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sorry, Honorable MP, you proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, again. I wish to extend my deepest appreciation to all members of this Honorable House who have contributed to the important motion. I particularly commend those who have engaged constructively in genuinely criticizing the budget, thereby helping to elevate the debate and the consciousness and understanding of our people.
45.
This debate is a testament to the democratic process and our collective commitment to the people of Grenada. However, Mr. Speaker, I must take this opportunity to address and correct some grossly misleading statements made by the opposition. We have no doubt that these statements were made deliberately to hide the truth and keep some segments of our population uninformed. The leader of the opposition spoke of economic decline in the global economy and here in Grenada, citing the World Economic Report as published.
Honorable MP, just come to the bench, please.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker.
Please come to the bench. Join us here, please.
Or join you.
Mr. Speaker, I was saying that the leader of the opposition spoke on economic decline in the global economy and here at home in Grenada, citing the World Economic Report as published by the IMF. Mr. Speaker, the World Economic Report, however, tells a very different story. Grenada's economy continues to grow with positive GDP expansion. In layman terms, Mr. Speaker, the economic pie is growing and not declining. Mr. Speaker, we can excuse the good lady for being new to the role of opposition leader, but what we can't excuse is she has been around as a senior government minister for many years, yet she does not appear to know or understand the difference between economic growth and economic decline. Or what is it her intention? Is it to mislead or to deceive the population? Runaway inflation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, like economic growth, our friends on the other side either do not understand the concept of inflation or are spreading this or misinformation. The Grenada Education Enhancement Project, GIP 2. Mr. Speaker, we heard that the funding for the St. David's Catholic Secondary School and the St. Andrew's Anglican Primary School was secured by the NNP government. Another blatant untruth. The loans for these two projects were negotiated by our administration and signed by me as Minister of Finance in April of 2024. I have here with me the evidence with my signature attached of the loan agreement. So those of you who would want to at least have a look at it, I can make it available to the Parliament so you can see that I was the one who actually signed this loan. These loans for the two projects were negotiated under my administration and signed by me, and I showed you the evidence. Mr. Speaker, permit me to share this document with you if need be. Fiscal management and government spending. Mr. Speaker, contrary to claims of wanton fiscal mismanagement and fiscal deterioration, our finances are well managed. This reminds me of the opposition claim that the government will collapse in the first 6 months after the 2022 elections. Then in 1 year, then in another year and a half, now 2.5 years, they have been saying a different tune, yet that tune is very unsubstantiated. Mr. Speaker, perhaps one of the most flagrant of these claims is a budget of over $2.1 million in overseas travel and hosting and entertainment by the Prime Minister. This is a lie, Mr. Speaker, if I'm permitted to use a word. Mr. Speaker, as a member of Parliament, especially those of us who claim to be religious leaders, should do better. That said, official engagement, whether domestic or international, are necessary for securing investments, strengthening domestic diplomatic ties, and advancing Grenada's development agenda. Every trip or every service is for a strategic purpose. Budget, loan, authorization, and financing the fiscal deficit. Mr. Speaker, the opposition is trying their best to mislead the nation.
And remember,
Sorry.
I hate to stop you, but we need to take a 3-minute recess to get the matter resolved.
I didn't get you, Mr. Speaker.
To get a matter resolved.
Okay.
We needed that recess for real. Now, if you notice from the very beginning, the speaker actually invited the minister and the member for St. Patrick East to take the floor. It was his turn. And it was his turn because, as per usual, the Minister of Finance normally close off the debate. As you would have heard, the Prime Minister can do so. He can choose who he wants to. But I don't believe that it should be done right there and then, right? So you decide the day before, 2 days before, a week before, say, I am going to close off this time, Cornwall, I will do it. Now, so he was on the floor. Now, a couple of things. As I said, Next week, you will decide who has a clue from who ain't have a clue. He come out slinging mud, right? He presented a deficit budget, and he's saying that their finances are well managed. He presented a deficit budget. How your finances well managed? How you become in a deficit? When you're spending more than you're making. So how is it well managed? Right? So he was made to sit down because by then Mr. Speaker was receiving his messages. Stop that. Stop it now. It is alleged that, and I'm saying alleged because I don't want to put anybody into anything, but the speaker, when he called the minister to his desk, was to let him know that the prime minister is the one that's going to be closing off. But I guess as it happened before, Minister Cornwall decides, no, I am the Minister of Finance. I presented. I should be the one closing. And the thing is, he had not yet addressed his constituency. And I'm speaking of Minister Cornwall, the member for St. Patrick East. Of course, neither did Deacon Mitchell, the member for St. David. But he was missing in action. He never came to the floor in any of the debate days so far, right? So, in order to get, because Minister Cornwall went back and just continued, but in order to get him to sit down, the speaker had to call a recess. And then it took more than 3 minutes. In my mind, it must take about 10 minutes. But I'm no good with time like that, so it could have been 6. But it took more than 3 minutes. He returned with the prime minister at his heels.
This parliament once more reconvene. Honorable members and those in the gallery, you notice I called the recess because when the Honorable MP for St. Patrick began to address the House, I noticed that neither the Prime Minister nor the MP for St. George's Northwest were around. So I called the recess to create the space to give the two gentlemen a chance to make their contribution to the debate. Because if the Honorable MP for St. Patrick East had continued, then the Honorable MP for St. George's Northwest, nor the Prime Minister would have a chance to make a contribution to the debate. Right? So hence the delay. It took me longer than 3 minutes, but this is where we are. I am now waiting on the other two members to make the contribution to the debate. Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and pleasant afternoon to you. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't see any of the members of the opposition present, and the only one who has not contributed to the debate is a member of Parliament for St. George North West. No, I think it's fine. I think I'm being heard clearly. Mr. Speaker, just so that we are clear, if I speak, I will use my prerogative to conclude the debate as Prime Minister. So I am prepared to seek clarification. I'm not sure whether you were able to ascertain the whereabouts of the Member of Parliament for St. George Northwest. And I'm happy to give him the opportunity to make his contribution to the debate. And so if you need to take an additional recess to ascertain that he wishes to so do, I am fine. But if not, I will exercise my prerogative as the Prime Minister and obviously be the one to conclude the debates.
Honorable MP, I did contact both yourself and the Honorable MP for St. George Northwest on the issue. And I expect him to be here if he wanted to make his contribution to the debate. I suggest that he proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and pleasant afternoon to everyone. I take it, Mr. Speaker, that my time is an hour and a half.
He noticed that the Prime Minister and the member for St. George Northwest was missing. And so if the Minister of Finance had continued, they would not. Yeah, that's exactly what should have happened. They were both missing, and there was no one else on the floor to speak. Everyone in there had spoken, and he was well within his right to get up and close the debate and close the both of them out. And that would have been okay. But he also knew that he got instructions that he was going to close the debate, something unknowing to the Minister of Finance, who it was him closing the debate, prepared his presentation, came out swinging from vines, only to find out when the Prime Minister rose to speak, and without being being asked or being whatever the speaker does when he acknowledged is the word. He wasn't acknowledged to stand, and he just got up and spoke because he had his conversation with the speaker already, be it by text or whatever it was. Because remember, he was missing in action. He was not in the chambers. But backstage, so to speak, he visited the opposition in the leader's office backstage, and reassured them that the two members missing would be allowed to speak, and the Minister of Finance would continue his wrap up. He came out, nothing so. Who pays the piper plays the tune. So the Big Shot was allowed to do what he wants and say what he wants. Yes, everybody knows it's his prerogative. And the pounding of the desk that resonated with me, with the minister, their colleague, sitting there, embarrassed, crunched down in the chair like someone poured tar over him. You know, like when a bird fall in an oil spill. Sitting there, and the colleagues, his colleagues around him, he didn't pound. He didn't. I think a couple of the other older ones. I didn't notice Philip Telesford pounding, or Minister Andrew, Minister Andrew Lennox Andrew. I didn't notice. And the Prime Minister said nothing to the Minister of Finance. Already started, and that's the thing. The president, not the president, who is the chairman, allowed him to start his debate, closing of the debate. He was allowed to do so. And then the plot. But first of all, let me share with you the schedule for the proceedings, right? And this was done by the government side. I guess the leader of government business shared it with the opposition and the parliament, and the three parties was in agreement. And if you look on your screen, you would see a copy of the schedule. And this was done way in advance of the whole budget presentation. And we see here first, and we're talking about the debate, right? The opposition leader. Second came a government member, and third, a government member. And then they stopped for lunch. Fourth, government member and opposition member. And then two government members, sixth and seventh. That's day one. That would be Monday. On Tuesday, day two, we start off with two government members back to back, 8 and 9. Then an opposition, number 10. And a government member, number 11. Then they break for lunch. And there would be, listen carefully, opposition, government, opposition, government, right? Now, if we look at what happened in the afternoon, we have, as the Prime Minister closed off, it meant that Minister Cornwall, there was no space here for Minister Cornwall, in other words, right? Because remember, number 14 was opposition. Let's go up to 13. Government, opposition, and number 12 was Miss Clarice Modeste, right? She came in after lunch. She was the first person after lunch. And then there was supposed to be government. And the only person that did not speak on the government side yet was the Prime Minister and member for St. David. So it would have been government, opposition, which should have been the former Prime Minister, member for St. George Northwest, because he also has not spoken. So he would have been 14, and then government to wrap up. And that was the schedule given to the opposition by the leader of government business. That's how it was supposed to flow. But in his mind, and that was all that's staying up behind, not coming out in front. So he's not there to speak. And in his mind, he knew he was going to ambush. The whole plan was to ambush Minister Cornwall, because Minister Cornwall was adamant as well that it's his budget and that he should close off the budget. He should wrap up. So the plot began to unfold as we look at this clip.
Order?
Yes.
The point of order?
Yes.
Okay, document.
Mr. Speaker, I just need serious point of order as to what really is happening in this house at this particular time. I just need clarity. because that's clearly a breach of the fundamental rules of the Parliament. I want to know what is the situation as far as the budget motion mover and who is closing the debate. Who is closing the debate? I just want to know what's happening, Mr. Speaker. Because as a serious member of this House, I believe it's necessary for us to obey the rules of the House.
All right, the question is asked. Yeah?
Yes, I need to know exactly what is happening.
Yes.
That will determine what I do relative to my own situation in this House at this time.
Right. The Honorable Prime Minister has decided that he will be one to close the debate.
Wait, okay. Mr. Speaker, listen, is that the Prime Minister may wish to close the debate, but the mover of the motion has to first decide he has to give the Prime Minister, whoever it is, the responsibility to close. So is the mover of the motion agreeing and deciding that he will not be able to speak going forward? Although, because, Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance got up and started to move the motion to close the debate. And that is his fundamental right as the Minister of Finance. We are all equals here in this House, you know. Different, whether
Dr. Mitchell.
Minister,
Dr. Mitchell.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. This is a serious statement, Mr. Speaker. Here, and I really wish that we need to obey the rules of the House.
Dr. Mitchell, the Speaker is on his feet.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Now, let me just read it for the benefit of the House, right? We're talking about the standing orders. And you will see it's not the minister, it's the Prime Minister who made the decision. I'll read what the standing order says. I'll read it for the hearing of everyone.
Mr.
No, Dr. Mitchell, the Speaker is on the floor. Let me do what I said I'm doing.
Well, Mr. Speaker, you're getting mad with me.
No, I'm getting mad with you.
Yeah, well, your vote,
I'm on the floor.
Mr. Speaker.
Dr. Mitchell, let me read. I'm reading the rules.
Mr. Speaker, you're an umpire.
Dr. Mitchell, I'm reading the rules. Allow me to.
An umpire. You are not a member of the government.
Dr. Mitchell, don't argue with the Speaker.
No,
I'm reading the rules.
I am arguing with the Speaker, Mr. Speaker.
Could you please turn off your mic, Dr. Mitchell?
I am. I'm not.
Right. So let me read the rules.
Obey the rules.
The rule says, Standing Orders 40, subsection 5, I want everybody to listen. The minister finally concluding the debate, whether the Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, or any other minister designated by the Prime Minister, may speak for 1.5 hours in addition to his earlier speech on the budget if he had already so spoken. Designated by who? The Prime Minister. So it's not the minister's decision, it's the Prime Minister's decision.
Mr. Speaker, let me just make this point. The Minister of Finance got up. Already, what you're talking about there has gone, we've gone past that. The Minister of Finance got up to close the debate. That is what he did. If this was decided before, then the Prime Minister would get up at the appropriate time and whoever the minister designate. He has to designate, and okay, who it is. He is the mover of the motion, Mr. Speaker.
Right.
And therefore, what you're talking about, a decision of the Prime Minister make. Grandson is no boss in this House. He's just a member of the House.
Dr. Mitchell?
Mr. Speaker, he is a member of
the
House.
Please resume your seat.
Say he wants to give.
Please resume your seat.
I heard the Prime Minister say he wants
Please
to give.
resume your seat, Dr. Mitchell.
Yeah, he always say me give me a seat.
Resume your seat,
I'm your little boy.
Because I'm standing and you're standing.
Yes. Because you are not obeying the rules of the House, Mr.
I just read it.
You are not. The Minister of Finance, I won't be talking to the little boy.
Honorable MP, please resume your seat.
The Minister of Finance, listen, Mr. Speaker, let me tell you something. There's 40 years I spent in this house. And you cannot break the rules of the house with impunity. You cannot do that.
Allow the speaker to speak, please.
Well, I've done so, and I'm making a point.
But you on the floor as you are the speaker.
The Minister of Finance got up and started moving a motion to close the debate. And therefore, he has that right. I have never stood up for the Minister of Finance, but in this case, I have no choice because this is a fundamental rule. And anything else that happens here, Mr. Speaker, I will not be part of this because my legacy would imply that I stood when the fundamental rules of the House are being broken, and I participated in this. I would not be part of my legacy in the twilight of my representation and service in this Parliament of this country, Mr. Speaker. And I really wasn't looking for this. But it appears that I have no choice. As one who has spent his life in this Parliament, 40 years, going to 41, and to see the rules being broken with impunity, I have a difficulty, Mr. Speaker. And I mean, you can throw me out, you know. That is a simple matter. You can't throw me out.
Dr. Mitchell? Honorable MP St. George Northwest, can you please turn off your mic? Wow. Honorable Prime Minister, you please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Just hold on, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm rising now on a matter of principle.
No.
And in relation to...
No, it's either for clarity or...
So I'm rising on a matter...
Or a point of order.
Of clarity,
the rules are clear.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my concern is that one member of this House started closing the debate. Mr. Speaker, for some reason, you were notified of a change. Mr. Speaker, you called the member to you. You spoke to the member. The member returned to his seat and continued closing the debate. Mr. Speaker, obviously, you had additional instructions. And so you stopped the member. You paused the debate of the member, the contribution, the closing of the member. You came to the back, Mr. Speaker. You engaged with us, Mr. Speaker. And then you came back and you allow another member of this House to start closing again. Mr. Speaker, it would be impossible to sit and to partake of this. Mr. Speaker, I've heard it. If we want to leave, leave. That's not the point. Mr. Speaker, the point is
Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
And we started listening the closure of the debate. And it appears that you had other instructions.
You are repeating yourself. You made the point. Please take a seat. Right? Honorable Prime Minister, please continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we should allow the colleagues to depart. I will sit to allow my dear friend from St. Mark to take her time. I'd like to invite the honourable member for the tongue of St. George to take over the position of opposition leader since there's no one else in the House. I can do so. But I'd like to thank him for staying.
In my mind, the Speaker should be removed from that House. And that's not just today. He has proven himself, and therefore he should be removed from the House. Just when you think it couldn't get any worse, huh? Just when you think. Well, the debate, you see, old people have a thing they say, when it start off bad, it will end bad. The whole budget thing and surrounding it, and the deceit and the to the people why the budget was late and all of that. It started off bad. It started off bad. Now you saw the schedule. You can go back and look at it and figure it out in your mind. Yeah. Now, according to the schedule, the Minister of Finance who moved the motion was supposed to close the debate. After the Speaker called for the recess, while at the back, he spoke to the opposition members, relaying to them that the member of St. David expressed that he wanted to close the debate, but that the Minister of Finance was resisting. In fact, that was what he mentioned to the member when he called him up to his bench. The minister went back and continued his closing. The speaker also reliably told the members of His Majesty's opposition that since the Minister of Finance had already started to close, he would be made to continue once they resumed, only to find out he went back on his word when the member for St. David showed up and ambushed the member for St. Patrick East. When the members of the opposition returned and saw the member for St. David's on the floor, they thought he was speaking in the capacity of the member for St. David and giving his contribution to the debate. Quickly realizing that that was not so, the leader of His Majesty opposition slipped a note to the chairman. And that was when she was told back by a note that the member for St. David will be wrapping up the debate, and therefore nobody speaks after him. And of course, by that time, the member for St. George's Northwest was already standing on a point of order, seeking clarification, and was made to sit down. The leader of His Majesty opposition then rose for clarification and was also made to sit down with no explanation. And the member for St. David's just asked by the speaker to continue. The opposition members, led by the leader, Honorable Emmeline Pear, member for St. Andrews South East, walked out of the chambers. The member for St. David's continued, never acknowledging the leader of His Majesty opposition on his one appearance throughout the 2 days of the debate. But instead he scoffed at her, calling her mother hen.
So I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, we can't have a situation where a mere difference of views over a procedural matter leads to this kind of storming out, with a mother hen and a 3 chicken hens swallowing in a row. We have to do better than that, Mr. Speaker, and I'm simply putting it on record because I think if this continues, it will send the wrong example to our junior parliamentarians. We are training right now. It will send the wrong example to the school children who are here. You have to appreciate that sometimes people have the right to make the decision. How do you make the decision? You persuade, but if after they say they ain't changing your mind, we have that in court all the time. You talk from now till like kingdom come, the judge sits, they rock, they sleep, and then wake up and they say, Mr. David, you talk good, but sending your client up. And you have to sit down and be respectful. So I don't understand how we in Parliament, and we have someone who served as an MP for 40 years, uninterrupted, and is behaving this way simply over a ruling with the Speaker. So I'm just putting this on record, Mr. Speaker, because I've tried to stay out of it, but I think it's becoming to the point where now
We need to rise.
You tried to stay out of it. You created it. You willfully created it. It was a plan. It was a plot to ambush. And folks, let's get this right. This thing is not about Dr. Mitchell and MLP and the opposition and the ruling party. No. This thing is about NDC, the Prime Minister, and the Minister of Finance. That's what this is about. They got all tied up in the web. But you started it, member for St. David. It was your plan, it was your plot from the very beginning. Since 2024, you wanted to close the debate. You actually wanted to start, to do the presentation as Minister of Finance, or for the Minister of Finance. If you wanted to do the budget debates, why didn't you just remain as Minister of Finance? You gave the gentleman the position, and then he must just sit down and shut up. In fact, everybody must sit down and shut up around you. The same ones that pong in the desk, they're getting crazy ponging. They are made to sit down and shut up as well, for the most part. And coming from you, Prime Minister, addressing the leader of the opposition of this country, His Majesty opposition, as made by the Constitution of the country, and to address her, not acknowledging her as leader of the opposition, but address her as a mother hen. It shows your narcissistic behavior. It shows you up as a male chauvinist. But we understand the pressure that you're under. Pressure does bust pipe. Honorable Emmeline Pear blew you guys out of the water with her rebuttal on Monday the 10th March 2025, a historic day. So the member for St. David continued with his presentation, with not a word mentioned to his colleague, Honorable Dennis Cornwell, who had prepared his closing remarks and had started the presentation of same. The member never got a chance to speak to his constituency, the constituency of St. Patrick East. The member was ambushed and clearly disrespected by the Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell. The Prime Minister didn't think it necessary to join his cabinet colleagues, a member of Parliament, and other members of Parliament, rather, in the chambers as they presented. The leader of the opposition rebuttal had him bazodi till now. And the way he put the Minister of Finance sit down, shut up and sit down, taking over and moving on like that's normal. It's not normal at all. It's the behavior of a narcissist, selfish, inconsiderate, insensitive, uncaring, uncompassionate male chauvinist. The sister was on fire in the house, and this is just the beginning. She is qualified for the job, experienced, competent, capable, willing, and definitely able. She's a winner. She is compassionate and caring. And you know, there were those of you who didn't think she could do it. And if you're true to yourself, you would agree that she did it. And she did it immaculately. Folks, that's a wrap on today's program, today's episode. of Simon Says. It's always a pleasure conversing with you, keeping them honest. Thank you for joining us in another episode of Simon Says, where facts come first. I'm your host, Jenny Simon. And next week, we have all the time, no interruptions, to dissect and to go into the Bramble budget. See you next week, same time, same place. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in to Simon Says. To ensure that you never miss an episode, click subscribe and make sure to turn on the notifications by clicking on the notification bell icon. See you at the next episode.